Jim Howe, got to have in the lanes. Jim Howe. Jim Howe, got to have in the lanes. Jim Howe, please. Andrew Hondros, left side. Out of Dix Hills, New York, 69 Camaro. Backing it up right side. They call him the Carolina Kid. He's out of Burlington, North Carolina. This is Travis Harvey.
Steve, I think you're pretty familiar with Travis over here in the right lane. Pretty much anything you put this guy in, he's going to be right at the front and probably winning, more likely than not. Won in Justin Swanstrom's car there for a while, won a whole bunch of big dog stuff, always competitive over on the PDRA side in both Pro Nitrous and Pro Boost. Even ran Top Sportsman there for a couple of races as well. Just a straight-up driver in every sense of the word.
How about it gets behind the wheel in September in an NHRA Pro Mod and knocks off the win. First time ever. This guy probably had the hottest month of September than anybody in the world in the right-hand lane. Now, he is known. He's going to put you on a gate job. He is ice cold on the starting line, and he will drill you. I don't think anybody in eliminations wants to draw the Carolina Kid.
No, like you said, more likely than not, he's going to have you on the starting line, so you better have it on the top end. If you are sleeping up front, he'll have you at the finish line. Andrew Hondros, one to keep an eye on as well, Nitrous Assisted Pro Mod.
Travis Harvey doing Travis Harvey things right there. He goes 365 with a 3 at 206. And, of course, out front.
Howe needs you to the staging lanes. Up next, Steve, we've got Chip King and Tim Papp making his Pro Mod debut this weekend.
Tim Papp always strong. You know, he tears that Top Sportsman category up. Always a front runner, qualified very low at all these races, like with a 70. Left-hand side, Chip King, another North Carolina native. And I just moved away from this, where he's from, and I was right down the road from where they kept this car. And the DreamWorks sponsored car. DreamWorks is one of those pimp my ride type deals. You know, do a lot of stuff for Carolina sports. People like pro football, Carolina Panthers, Duke basketball, Carolina basketball. DreamWorks is a pretty strong company.
Yeah, so they build all kinds of beautiful cars. I mean, anything you can think of, they can do it. Chip ran a little bit of NMCA back in the day, switched over, was running NHRA this past year. Used to have Justin Carmack right there behind, tuning on the car now, so they've got a little bit of different crew up there, it looks like, for this weekend. But Chip King, always a solid car, always makes good A to B laps anytime you see him out on the 660 or the 1320 as they run over NHRA. Tim Papp, as you said, making his debut. You hit on it, Steve. Perennial elite Top Sportsman competitor, always at the top everywhere he goes. One to keep an eye on here. I believe he's out of the KTR camp this weekend as well, so Stevie and those guys always got something cooked up when it comes to Pro Mod racing.
Yeah, I would imagine he's going to be well down into qualifying right here. What a beautiful race car, and it definitely is proven winner and a driver over there on that right-hand side. Chip King's been running Pro Mod for a number of years, different body styles. I love it when he brings out this big Daytona body right there on the left-hand side. Is one of my favorites. And I think he owns the body there. Whoa, wheels up the path there. I don't know if he lifted. He finally, that thing started going a little crazy there in the right-hand lane. It lifted the tires well down the track. You can't steer it there when the tires are in the air. Chip King goes 368 at 200 miles an hour. Tim Papp on a strong run there, 391 at only 153, so he's got more left in the tank.
Yeah, I don't think that wheel stand was really playing, and he did lift just a little bit early, but it looked pretty good all the way up to the 330 when he finally let out of it. Solid run out of Mr. King there in the left lane. Up next, Craig Sullivan in the Bet on Black machine, and Steve King over in the right lane.
Steve King on the right side, out of Virginia, Strasburg, Virginia car. And, of course, Craig Sullivan. Look at that car right there, man. I just love that thing. All that chrome is painted on right there, 49. Mercury. Sullivan out of Indiana, Plainfield, Indiana. What a beautiful car. And I'm telling you, this egg-shaped car right here, don't let it fool you. This thing can flat out go.
Yeah, like you said, it may look like a boat, but it is nothing but that. Used to be the El Mero. Had a little bit of an accident back last year, and now he is back in bed on black, and that thing is a pretty slick-looking Cougar down there. That's what he's calling it now. It used to be the Mercury back before he had his incident. Steve King over there on the right with John Salemi and the Resolution Racing crew on there helping tune that car. John has had all kinds of success here in the past with Melanie and some of his other guys. Derek Ward winning World Series of Pro Mod. So we'll see what John and crew have in line for Steve King here in Q1.
Two beautiful race cars. I take either one. Blown power plant. Here we go. Lining them up. Steve King right side. Craig Sullivan left side. Big time tire shake, left side. Sullivan gone. 364 at 207.5. 207.5. What a beautiful run. Craig Sullivan, man, that thing pulled strong from A to B the whole way down. King had a lot of tire shake there on the right-hand side. I'm sure that vision was blurry right there in the first 150 feet because that thing was bouncing like a tractor. Craig Sullivan goes to the number 1 spot after 8 cars with that pass.
Solid run out of Craig there. Up next, Derek Ward, your World Series of Pro Mod champion, and Stevie Fast Jackson over in the right lane.
Wow, what can you say about these two right here? They've won just about everything, right? Left-hand side, Derek Ward, 2024 World Series of Pro Mod champion out of Maryland, 1968 Firebird. And any of you here today that were here earlier in the year, the World Series of Pro Mod, knows how dramatic and exciting that final round was. Derek Ward took home the money. Right-hand side, Stevie Fast Jackson started out Grudge Racing where he first came popular on YouTube and then has taken it to the top. This guy, I don't know how you bet against this guy, Gavin.
Yeah, say Stevie has run everywhere at every kind of track prep, every kind of tire, every kind of combination. He has data for just about everything out there. So he is somebody to keep an eye on all weekend long, because if you give him 3 or 4 shots at the racetrack, he's going to figure it out and make some solid runs. We saw Tim Papp, one of his guys earlier, on the wheelie bars to about the 330, so we're going to see what Stevie can do there. And then Derek Ward, John Salemi tuned as well, as we mentioned earlier. You saw John was going after it with Steve King on that previous run, so keep an eye on Derek Ward here. Had his coming out party this year, winning World Series of Pro Mod, and then going out and setting some records over on the PDRA side there for a minute, and just solid run after run after run for Derek Ward all year long. Let's see what they got here for Q1.
Woo! Derek Ward with a big wheel stand right there. Goes 364 at 208. Jackson right there with him, 365 at 206. Ward goes to the number 2 spot. Stevie Jackson goes to number 4. Sullivan still at the top.
I say Craig has got Derek there by just one little number right there, still holding the number 1 spot. As you saw, Derek Ward on the wheelie bars carrying out there pretty good ways. An awesome run for Derek, John, and that whole team. Up next,
oh, man, look at the blowing clothes off people in the burnout. Look at the people fighting, trying to find the hats and everything else. Buttons from their shirt. Making them naked up there with them blown cars. Spencer Hyde on the right side, 2023 World Series of Pro Mod winner out of Canada.
hey. So Spencer, out of Canada, as we said, former World Series of Pro Mod champion, PDRA Pro Boost competitor. Believe at one point this year he was in a top fuel car or top alcohol car, doing all kinds of crazy things. And then in the left lane, DJ McCain, nitrous-fed Camaro there in the left. Did a lot in the radial world, no time world, no prep world there for a minute as well. Taking a step up here, seeing what he can do in that beautiful black and gray Camaro.
A lot of talk in the pits as I walked through this morning about the nitrous cars. And of course the talk was coming from the Pro Boost type cars are complaining about the nitrous cars. So let's see what happens right here. DJ McCain, no stranger to grudge racing in anything. That guy can drive anything over there left-hand side. Right lane, proven winner and champion, Spencer Hyde. Wow, Spencer Hyde, all one right there, goes 365 with a 2 at 206. That front wheel was just dancing the whole way down, just tapping it, bringing it back down to make sure he's straight, just tapping it the whole way down. What a strong run right here. Spencer goes to the number 3 spot.
I say a great run out of Spencer right there. Up next, the other Courtney Enders team car, Erica Enders, getting back in the Pro Mod after her plenty of success in Pro Stock over the years in the Elite Motorsports Camaro there in the left lane. And then over in the right lane, Sydney Frigo, another NHRA guy, stepping down and running some 660 8th Mile Outlaw Pro Mod. I believe we got Jeff Pierce over there on the keyboards tuning that car. And Steve, something that the Winter Series and World Series and other events of this caliber seem to bring is you get people like the NHRA guys who run quarter mile. You get people like Erica Enders or Antron Brown, Justin Swanstrom, some of the no prep guys all over. We're bringing them here to Bradenton to the Winter Series, and we're competing at the 660 8th Mile Pro Mod Racing. You don't get that kind of stuff anywhere else where you get a top field driver, a pro stock driver, a no prep driver, radial drivers. Everybody from all walks of life when it comes to motorsports is coming to run the Winter Series this year.
I think they have to, right? They want to be a part of this. They see how big it is. They see how big Outlaw Pro Mod is. They want to be a part of it. You're a racer, and I tell you, this left-hand lane, I believe 6-time world champion in pro stock, Erica Enders, and anytime you get Elite or Freeman's name on the side of it, and Freeman out right there bringing her in, that they're going to be strong, right? Before, at the end of the day, when the dust settles, they're going to be there. Sydney Frigo, right side, just like you said, very strong competitor in NHRA Pro Mod. Shorten it up this time, only going to run 660 feet, but he's out of Georgia. He can get it done as well. Erica out of Oklahoma. Here we go. Pro Charge car, left-hand side of blown entry, right lane to Sydney. Sydney moving close to that center line, but how about Erica Enders? 362 with an 8 at 205. Goes to the number 1 spot. 362 at 205. Sydney goes to number 8 with a 370.
And we just talked about it. Whenever you got the elite team and Freeman on board, they're not going to halfway do anything. They're going to come in all the way, and you see it right there going to the top. 362 with an 8. All right, next pair out, your Pro Boost world champion over on the PDRA side, Jason Harris in the Party Time Camaro out of North Carolina there in the left lane. Jason, just like his counterpart a little bit earlier, Travis Harvey, they have raced everything from Big Dog to Pro Nitrous. He's a Pro Nitrous world champion as well. Anything that Jason Harris gets in is one to be reckoned with. Brandon back there doing some tuning on that. You see Bob, let's hope he can keep his shoes and socks on today, as it was a little too sticky yesterday for you. Yeah, do the dance out there, Bob.
Look at it. What is that, a flamingo pose or something there? Right-hand side, Bassano out of Brazil. Give it up for Brazil. FT Injector sponsored car on the right-hand side. Got his hands full right here with the Party Time car. of Jason Harris. A lot of people, Gavin, this weekend have picked this car left side to win the whole thing.
So you can call me a homer if you want, but there's not many cars out there right now and many teams that are as dialed in as Jason and that whole group. Anytime they go out, they are threatening the number one spot, threatening record-setting runs, and Jason's no one to sleep on the starting line either.
We could see it right here. There he goes. Right on cue, 006 goes 363 with a 3 at 207. Masato 368 at 204. Harris, number 2 spot behind Erica. Erica with the 62 with an 8. Harris, 63 with a 3 at 207.
All right, attention in the pits, We need pairs 16 through 20. Pairs 16 through 20 to the lanes for Q1 in Pro Mod. That is Ken Quartuccio, Keith Goolsby, Kevin Rivenbark, Jeff Rudolph, Kurt Steding, Jay Santos, Kai Kelly, Jason Scruggs, Lyle Barnett, and Isaias Rojas need pairs 16 through 20 to the lanes for Q1.
Kevin Rivenbark, we need you in the lanes. Rivenbark, we need you in the lanes. Bringing up the next pair. Pierre Anacoin out of Quebec, another strong Canadian over there on the right hand. What a good-looking car that is, that Corvette on the right-hand side. Is that a Corvette? Yes, it is. Left-hand side, oh boy, Jason Lee. Anytime you see that coast on the side of a car, that thing is meant to run. California, car left side, California. Strong runner in 2020 Camaro. Coast Packing Company. On board, you got a lot of sponsors on there. PTP Racing, Alliance Custom Motorsports, Noonan, Haltac, Hoosier, PSI Superchargers, Liberty Gears, you name it. He's got it all over that Jason Lee car, and they should get on there as strong as this guy, another proven winner. Great matchup right here. All of these cars are spectacular. Here at our Snowbird Outlaw Nationals, brought to you by Motion Raceworks. Here we are, Q1. We're down to pair 9 out of 31 pairs. Let that sink in, right? What a great show. Not to run. Pierre looking for on the right side. Left-hand side, Jason Lee, 365 with a 2 at 204. I thought I heard a throttle blip somewhere there. It might have been Pierre in the right lane. Jason Lee goes in the number 6 spot. 65 with a 2. Still, the top 3 going to be Enders, Harris, and Sullivan. Wow.
So up next, Steve, we have the one, the only, Jay Cox in the Pumpkin, coming out of retirement in the turbo car. Not a nitrous car, turbos for Jay Cox. And then in the right lane, Mike Decker Jr. completing the burnout there. Jay Cox still sitting in the water box, waiting for Decker to back up a little bit before he does his abbreviated burnout and pre-stage routine there. In testing all week this week, both cars have made some pretty solid runs. This is Jay's first time with the turbos. Gonna see if he can do some Mark Mickey numbers here.
All right, looks like they're taking their time. Right side to Decker camp, always strong in that Northeast Series. All of these cars that the Deckers run, very strong contenders. Are looking over to see what's going on back here with Jay Cox. There he goes, Jay Cox, a little abbreviated burnout, the Butner construction car left-hand side out of Smithfield, North Carolina. Really, it's about 30 minutes from where I live, actually. Not sure how many people knew this about Jay Cox. former professional baseball player at Colorado Rockies. He was an outfielder and a pretty athletic guy right there. Could probably, anything sports related, he's probably good at. His dad there behind him, setting the wheelie bars on there. So like you said, coming out of retirement, but this time in a turbo car. He said, man, I don't even know if I can stage this thing. But he's a heck of a driver here and was dominant on the PDRA circuit. Now the Deckers look over there. They see Jay has got it ready. Now they're going to put it in the beams and go with the blown car right-hand side up against the turbo car of Jay Cox. Look for the right side to get the jump probably out of the, if they leave together. Of course, the big end where the turbo car is really going to eat as the air starts rolling through that thing. Something broke right there on the right side. On the right-hand lane as we see one of the bullhorns shoots off of that side. A misfire. Decker, 370 at 204. 370 with a 3 at 204, almost 205. All right, that's 16 through 20 group in our M&M Outlaw Pro Mod category. We should have Kent Quartuccio, Keith Goolsby, Rivenbark, Rudolph, Santos, Steding, Kelly, Scruggs, Barnett, and Rojas. We're going to call the next pair, the next five pair, Melanie Salemi, Demetrius, David Monday, Randy Weatherford, Raymond Matos, Colton Isbell, Chris Juliano, Robert Abbott, Robert Davis, and Camilo Velez. We need you to the lanes, please. You are pair 21 through 25. We're going to have you to the lanes, please.
So Jerico Balduf, another NHRA guy here in the left lane in the Batman car over there on the left side. In the right lane, Mike Decker III. His dad just went down, made a all right looking lap there. Mike Decker, Northeast Outlaw Pro Mod guy. I believe he was a world champion there at Northeast Outlaw Pro Mod at one point.
He was. Yeah, they call him Hollywood over there on the right-hand side. That whole team over there, there's a bunch of them. There's about 30 people over there that travels with those guys. They say Hollywood is the guy to beat over there. Another, of course, out of Maryland, 2022 Camaro. Decker Salvage on the side of that car. They got a lot of sponsors on board. Tie Drive, Auto Fab, Race Cars, Maximum Racing Oils. Left-hand side, the Batman car, the Chevelle, 69 Chevelle of Jerico Balduf. Extreme Concrete on board along with NGH spark plugs, Dirty Pig Detail, and Stewart Performance. Two more strong blown cars here running NHRA left-hand side. Balduf running in a NHRA Pro Mod. That's quarter-mile car, so you have to remember to lift a little earlier. Wow, heck of a drag race right there, even all the way down. Look at these times. Jerico Balduf, left-hand side. 364 with a 2 at 201. Decker Hollywood goes 365 at 206. Balduf to the number 3 spot. Just in front of Sullivan, so it's Enders, Harris, and Balduf top 3. It's a heck of a race right there. 64 to 65. So right now the first 12 cars are in the 60s. How about this? Both of these guys have run or do run no prep Kings cars and no prep category. Right-hand side out of California, Mike Bowman won the inaugural World Series of Pro Mod out there in Colorado. Beautiful Chevelle over there. Look at that thing. Looks like some kind of big Godzilla or something stepped on the top of that thing and just squashed it down. Left-hand side, Jim Howe. Although he's run no prep Kings, not showing time. He's not a stranger to showtime on this car. He's out of Tennessee, and most people know him from no prep Kings on television, but he's been drag racing for a long, long time. He's run dragsters. He's run all kinds of stuff. This car has gone in the 60s, by the way. Out of Crossville, Tennessee, Jim Howe. Uh-oh. Oh, he got his... I don't know how anybody thinks that's a good idea to come up there in Crocs on the start line. That's just not a good plan. Amanda's wife out in front. Bowman in the right side. Bowman's a big dude slammed down in there. He's about 6'5", I think. He's a tall one, kind of like Robin Roberts. His feet are down there in front of the front wheels, I believe. Jim Howe all over the tree there, but not going to work. Right-hand side, 368 with a 9 for Bowman at 203. Howe, not the run he was looking for, has to abort early at only 90 miles an hour. But Bowman in a 13 spot with that 68. Now 13 cars in the 60s.
All right, up next, Joel Winsley Sr. here in the left lane and Mark Mickey over in the right. Mark Mickey, one to always burn up the scoreboard. Mark is no stranger to high 50 runs here in Pro Mod with his turbo-assisted Pro Mod there in the right lane. Joel Winsley Sr. here in the left in the Pro Charge Camaro from Michigan, PDRA runner. His son as well running some PDRA Pro Street with us. Always competitive car. You got Patrick doing the tuning there in the left lane for Joel. Steve, when it comes to Mark, he is always at the top, if not setting records and just putting a few numbers on the whole pack, letting everybody know that anytime that this Pro Mod comes out, he means business. And if you want to run with him, you better have that thing tuned to the moon.
Well, not only is this such a beautiful car and color combination, when I look at it, it just, in my mind, I instantly think mile an hour, right? He's always at the top of the mile an hour in this car in the right-hand lane. They really got that thing worked out. And Winsley, you know, don't count this guy out. Liberty Gear sponsored car, left-hand side, a strong contender out of Michigan. Winsley Sr. Look at that thing. It is as sleek as they come. All right, looks like issues there for Winsley as they shut that thing down. And Mickey on a single here on the right-hand lane. Here comes the boost. Watch it jump and then jump more when the green light comes on. Oh, wow. Look, man, like a dart shot out of there. 362 with a 5. Look at a mile an hour. 217.21 miles an hour for Mark Mickey. Boy, that thing was strong down low, and it just kept eating. Wow, 217.21, 362 with a 5.
And you know what's crazy is he had that patent Mark Mickey little wiggle out there past the 330. If that would have been a straight run A to B there, I mean, you're looking at a 61, maybe a high 60, and that's, you know, just the tip of the iceberg for him. He's typically dipped down into the 58s, 57s, no problem.
Yeah, I saw a little wiggle down the low right there. It moved around, but it was still digging, man. It was eating the whole way down, and that's a lot of mile an hour. Takes him to the number 1 spot. He's on the pole right now with that 62 and a 5. Erica right behind him, 62 with an 8. But look at the mile an hour. Look at it. I'm just going through the top 10 mile an hour as we speak right here. I'm not going to tell you the names, but I'll just go top 10. 206.8, 206, 204, 206, 208, 207, 201, 207, 205, and 217. Wow.
For our fans and crew here, concession stand is open. If you want to slide over there and grab something to eat or drink, concession stand is open here on the tower side. Up next, Kenny Lang. Kenny Lang out of Canada, and in the left lane, J.R. Gray.
J.R. Gray, another NHRA professional over here, left-hand side, runs on the NHRA Pro Mod circuit. And no stranger to grudge racing either. That guy's probably got one of the fastest, if not the fastest, small block grudge cars you're ever going to match up against. Got a Holly Hill, South Carolina 2020 Camaro, left-hand lane. Kenny Lang out of Michigan, 69 Camaro. No stranger to Pro Mod wind lights there in the right-hand lane. I tell you, man, you know, Gavin, this pair here, it doesn't matter who, it's just every matchup right here is nothing but hitters. Nothing but hitters. Two more beautiful race cars here, man. I tell you, the whole ground's loaded full of them. I want to thank you, racers, for going out here. Woo! Right-hand side. Kenny Lang, big wheel stand, goes 365 at 199. It might have lifted right there into traps as that thing was going up in the air and close to the center line, but he stayed in it. Issues for J.R. Gray. That thing shook like crazy. I'm surprised he's got parts still on that thing. He didn't shake them off going down track. Still goes strong on the big end at 191. Lang goes to the number 10 spot with that 65. Now 15 cars in the 60s. We're just looking at Q1. How about that? In the early hours that we're just getting started, it's not even 11 o'clock yet. And we're already seeing some strong numbers right here at the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals. Man, a top 10 car or top 15 cars in the 60s. It's only going to get better.
Up next, Justin Swanstrom and Keith Goolsby. Justin, out of the no prep world, does lots of no-time racing as well. Like we talked about earlier, Travis Harvey piloted one of his vehicles to a victory. Justin and that team out of Florida. They are a crowd favorite here for sure. Keith Goolsby, I believe he is part of the Midwest Series. Is that correct, Steve, or do you know that?
Yeah, he is out of Missouri right here on the right-hand side, runs in that Midwest. He's a strong contender as well. 1969 Camaro body style, the blown car. Left-hand side, like you said, Swanstrom, the Swan Gang, out of Zephyr Hills, Florida. Where's Big Country? Is he down there, or is he working? He's working. He'll be down here this weekend. But Justin behind the wheel right here in the 69 Pro Mod. This is not a No Prep Kings car. This is actually an Outlaw Pro Mod car. They got a stable of entries in that big building they got there in Zephyr Hills. They're another threat, and I tell you, especially in grudge racing, man, you can't bet against these guys. I used to love them when they had that Armageddon car, that black Mustang. Man, that thing was about as, I had a big Musi 959, and the first time I did Woodstock at Darlington, and I didn't tell anybody, but I saw the board of what the numbers on my screen lit up. Of course, the scoreboard was off. I was unbelievable how fast that car was back then. And they have been winning ever since. Swanstrom looking out of his windshield right there. He sees the tire marks for J.R. Gray. Just shook it up pretty good. It's got to be in his mind right here whether he's got to blip it. Right-hand side, a beautiful Camaro of Goolsby out of Missouri. Look at that thing sparkle. And here we go, Q1. Right-hand lane, Keith goes 372 at 201. Swanstrom 371 with a 7. 201 as well. Take him to 19th and 20 spot after Q1. There's Big Country. I didn't think he was here. He must have called in sick today.
You know, Big Country is walking around down there behind the keyboard there for Justin. Solid run for that group. Up next, Ken Quartuccio and Jeff Rudolph. Jeff Rudolph in the Pro Charge Camaro there on the right side. Brandon behind the keyboards on that one as well. Always one to keep an eye on. PDRA Pro Boost runner. Always somebody who can crack off a low 60 run, no problem. And Ken Quartuccio here in the left lane. NHRA car. Ran Pro Boost. PDRA there for a while. Was exclusively NHRA this year. Plenty of good laps out of him and that team. They are another one that I think is kind of a sleeper this weekend that can come out and get a win. I say sleeper, and it's Ken Quartuccio. It's nobody to sleep on, but that's just the kind of clientele we have here this weekend.
Well, you're right there, but you can call it a sleeper. It kind of is because everybody's talking about the big names that are there, but Ken Quartuccio has been doing it for such a long time, and it really is no surprise if he goes out and does it again. Right-hand side, he gets my vote of one of the coolest names ever, you know, right there, the Ghetto Sleigh out of Jeff Rudolph. And, of course, they're the team that has the airman, right, that does the...
Yeah, so they got the pilot guy there on the side doing the whole signaling down. And pretty cool little setup there. The Sailor Jerry sponsor vehicle over there in the right side.
Yeah, I love it when they do that. I think it's cool as hell. Left-hand side out of Connecticut is Ken. Right-hand side, Rudolph out of Indiana. Pair of 69 Camaros, Pro Line on board in the right-hand lane. And M&M transmissions as well. The Ghetto Sleigh can get it done. If both of these cars go A to B, this is going to be a tight one. Woo! Look at Ken there dancing a tire. Left-hand side, 365 at 203. Rudolph, 365 with a 6. 1 for Ken. Ken Quartuccio goes to the number 7 spot. Jeff Rudolph to number 11. Wow, strong run. I knew they were going to be even. How even were they? 65 with a 1, 65 with a 6.
Yeah, 65-1, 65-6, separated by 4 spots in the qualifying sheet right now. And that is how tight the racing is here. Up next, Kevin Rivenbark, NHRA driver here in the left lane, and Jay Santos out of Canada over there in the right.
Jay Santos, he's been doing a long time too, and alcohol as well. Strong runner out of Ontario, 2022 Camaro. What a beautiful race car. In the right-hand lane. Left-hand side, Kevin Rivenbark. Scott Palmer on the right side. Oh, we need Scott Palmer. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm new at this. Palmer, we're going to have you in the lanes. Scott Palmer, we're going to have you in the lanes. Left-hand side, Rivenbark. In the Culp Lumber car. Rivenbark, another NHRA guy, but he's been doing it a long time as well. Really good driver. He's a strong competitor. Out of that Galat Motorsports camp there in Benson, North Carolina.
I say Kevin Rivenbark, like I said, NHRA driver, NHRA race winner a few times this year. So you got all Hank Jackson there on the left door. The rest of the Shelton Culp Lumber team helping out Kevin there. Someone to keep an eye on for sure all weekend long. Also nicknamed the River Snake. One to keep an eye on as he can be right there at the top with the best of them.
Rivenbark is the River Snake?
Yeah, he's got that nickname from a couple people back home.
No, I didn't know that. That's the first time I ever heard that one. But I know they're strong. That's a strong team over there with Stan Shelton on board. So look for this, another pair that can get it done right here. Whoa, Rivenbark with a move there about mid-track, has to lift. That thing made a sachet towards the left-hand wall, and he wisely lets off. Santos, 369 at 205. Woo! Man, I tell you, the hits just keep coming with this Outlaw Pro Mod.
Yeah, 369.5, that puts you at 18 right now with more still to come. Just telling you how good the competition is here. Up next, Jason Scruggs and Kurt Steding. Kurt Steding, Pro Boost front runner. Coming down here with Todd Totoro behind the keyboards there. Always somebody who is bound to finish 5-ish.
Steding?
Yeah, Steding, 5-ish in qualifying.
Runner-up in the 2023 World Series of Pro Mod right here. So, like you said, and also a strong contender in PDRA Pro Boost, right?
Oh, yeah. So I believe he finished second or third this year, was right there in it all the way to the end. Came down to a couple of rounds of racing there for us over on the PDRA side. Jason Scruggs, Mississippi Missile.
Mississippi Missile.
Over there in the right lane. NHRA runner. Got a whole good group of guys over there. The Farmer. Somebody who cranks off all kinds of crazy fast ETs. Bubba Stanton drives some of his cars as well. Great group of guys over there. Paul Cartwright, crew chief, over there on the right side, supervising everything, making sure everybody's doing their job, everybody's staying in line.
So Scruggs, right side of Mississippi Missile, another one of great nicknames right there. But you know, you say he's a farmer, but I don't think people know, the general public don't know how big of a farmer he is. When he goes out to check on his things, they do it in a helicopter. They go fly around in a helicopter to look at their land. That's how much. I don't know how many million acres or so. I don't know, it's crazy. Oh boy, look at him lift the wheels on the right side. Strong, 367 left-hand side for Steding at 205, 68 for Scruggs at 201. Wheels up right there in the right lane. I'm not sure he blipped it down there, but that thing was getting up in the air. Wow, strong run right there with both cars. Woo! This is only Q1. Man, this is fun to watch. All these cars go into 60.
Let's say great runs out of both those cars right there. Todd Totoro awesome A to B run, just going to keep chipping away at it there. Up next, Kai Kelly and Isaias Rojas.
Rojas in the right lane out of Puerto Rico. Beautiful car. 2019 Corvette. What a heck of a race car. Left side. He's a little overweight in this steel body car. In the left-hand lane. He's out of Mississippi. Strong on the street. Strong on the no prep. And now he says, I just want to qualify. If I could just qualify. And you know, he tested the waters earlier this year in the PDRA race, and I think he beat somebody on a hole shot. I know who it is. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, so he ended up winning on a hole shot. First race out with us in Michigan. Made some great runs. Jeff Pierce down there helping him out. Jeff Pierce, somebody always going to have good tune-ups, solid cars, making A to B laps all the time. Isaias Rojas from Puerto Rico hung out with me at World Cup a few weeks ago down in Maryland, running the quarter mile there, and made some great runs down at Maryland, I guess up at Maryland from here. Maryland International Raceway at World Cup just a few weeks ago. The Mech Tech team over there in the right lane. Steve, I think you hit on it. Kai Kelly, no Prep Kings guy. Have some Pro Mod experience already. Let's see what he can do here in Q1.
Kai on one right there, goes 366 at 203. That's a steel roof and quarter car right there. He was all over the tree right there with an 025 on that pro tree. And Kai makes a strong run. Number 15 spot in his 60s. He's in the 60s. How many cars are in the 60s? I don't know. It's probably 20 cars in the 60s now. It is actually 21 in the 60s. Rojas with issues there on the right-hand side, but that's a strong contender. He'll bring that thing back, and he'll make the necessary adjustments. And they still got time to get in the show as we are only in qualifying round number 1. Great action right here. Man, they just keep on coming. Now I see Allen down there, so it must be Robin Roberts coming up soon. Demetrius Samkov, right-hand side. Look at that car. How beautiful is that in the right-hand lane?
So, Steve, in the left lane here, we've got Lyle Barnett. We've talked about it with a bunch of other drivers here. Lyle has been behind the wheel of pretty much everything, and he has won behind the wheel of pretty much everything. Always somebody who can cut your head off on the starting line and then also outrun you on the top end as well.
He's a very colorful individual, about as colorful as they come right here. You know, another Carolina guy. I'll tell you what scares me about Lyle, and I don't even know if I should say this on the microphone, but he's got 2 speeds when he throws that throttle down and gets off that button. It's either wide, blank, open, or it's off. That's it. He knows no in between. That thing will go through the finish line at 45-degree angle. He doesn't care.
Yeah, it's all the way or no way for him. If we ain't going all the way, I have no desire to even be in it, and that's what that team is always about. The Tommy Yeomans group going right there. Shake and Bake Star in the left lane, and then Dmitry Semrukov from the NHRA side in the right lane.
Look at Lyle Barnett, 367 at 202. Dimitri in the right lane, 382 at 201. Lyle goes to number 17 spot, Dimitri 28. Another strong run. Lyle's car was pulling hard right there. That thing looked good. The wheels up early on, and we just went straight all the way down through it. So Lyle, again, colorful individual, fun to watch, fun to talk to, fun to listen to. Just fun to be around. And another proven winner, man. I've seen that car. You know, have you ever seen him run? I bet you have. You've seen him run the Beer Money car. Beer Money. That's a fun car to watch, right? It looks like it belongs in a junkyard, but it'll empty your pockets quickly.
Yeah, say don't judge the book by its cover on that one.
Absolutely not.
Up next, David Monday and the queen of Pro Mod, Melanie Salemi, in the left lane.
There's another proven winner right there, left-hand side out of Buffalo, New York, 68 Firebird. Melanie Salemi, I don't know, she's dominant over there in the PDRA as well.
Yeah, say always right there at the top anytime they come out. John and Evan and Jim and that whole crew always have a handle on her car. Melanie and the Salemi team have experienced all kinds of success down here in Florida. Plenty of event wins here in Florida. Haven't quite gone up to their standards the last couple of races, and that is something that does not sit well with them. You see Evan scrambling up front there, making a quick adjustment there on the line. Jim telling Melanie, hang tight just a second. Looks like we're all good to go. John adjusting the wheelie bars out back. Steve, they have not had the typical Florida performances they're used to in years past, and that is something, as I was saying, does not sit well with Melanie. Always wanting to be right there at the top. That team does not handle failure well, and failure for them is anything but an event win.
Well, that team's got nothing but all-stars on it. They always have it, and they're strong. Great tuners on that car as well. One of my good friends back behind her there with the camera, Katie, out of North Carolina. Right-hand side, David Monday car. Man, that thing looks like it's going about 210 just sitting still. What a beautiful race car out of Tennessee, 2023 Corvette body. Wow, these cars are amazing. Nothing but blown stuff. I like to see when the turbo cars and the Pro Charge and the nitrous cars come up as well. Melanie with a big wheel stand. She drives it. Look at that. 363 with a 9 at 204. Monday, 371 at 202. That's all driver left-hand side, and Melanie takes it to the number 4 spot. 363 with a 9 at 204.
363.9, and like you said, driving a little bit to the right there, pulled it back left, so she definitely could have been a little bit quicker if that was a straight A to B run. Awesome run out of the Salemi camp here in Q1. Up next, Randy Weatherford in the left lane. And Cole Pesz out of Texas in the right lane.
So Cole Pesz, right-hand side out of Texas. Another young kid, a young gun right here behind the wheel, and man, he's making some moves. What a beautiful race car that is over there on the right-hand side. Left-hand side of WS Construction Camaro, brand new car. And Randy Weatherford out of Danville, Virginia area. He's got another strong team right there. Andy Beal behind him. Chris Potteroff. Taylor Weatherford, his son out front there, giving him the stage. You know, Randy, when he picks up a new car every couple of years, he orders another one. Did you know that? Right as soon as he picks it up, he makes another order. So these guys are strong in the Pro Boost category. They can run 60s all day long, I believe.
Yeah, 60s is no stranger to the Weatherford team, the WS Construction Group there in the left lane. Always one to keep an eye on. Pro Stars event winner at PDRA back a couple of years ago. Cole Pesz there in the right lane in the blower car. Already got the pre-stage on, waiting on Randy to get in the beams.
Issues for Pesz. Look at Weatherford hugging that left-hand side. Goes 364 with a 6 at 203. A little bit of tire shaking. That thing was moving left the whole way down. He stayed in it. 364 at 203. Takes him to the number 8 spot for the WS Construction team. Hello, Tracy Zabo. I see her down there with her boyfriend, Steve Petty. Hello. Wow, what a great drag race. Weatherford, I tell you, man, that thing is like a bracket car. I believe they can slap a 63 on that thing and turn on some wind lights for 4 days in a row. That's how consistent they are over there. Great team. and a great car.
So Steve going to go on a quick hold here as we've got a little bit of oil in the right lane that we got to clean up out of the cold Pesz group. While we have some downtime, want to let the fans and racers know that you can grab your Snowbirds Winter Series and Racers Club merch at the merch booth directly behind the track prep equipment. It will sell out, so if you are here, take advantage of it and get over there today and get your merch before it sells out, because it always sells out. And we hope that it makes it to Saturday evening, but that is not a guarantee. There is a good chance that it sells out Saturday morning like it did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, great stuff over there, man. I tell you, really impressed with this Snowbird Outlaw Nationals, with the vendors that are on board, and especially apparel like you just mentioned. The Racer Club stuff, first of all, make sure you get a Snowbird Outlaw National, the event shirt. I know I'm going to grab one. That's going to be a great thing to have for years and years to show that you've been down there. And also the Racer Club. Now, you've seen that apparel. People are wearing it. It's like the hottest thing to wear now. I even saw the guy in the airport last night with a hat. And not only is that cool-looking stuff, but it's actually great quality. And while you're over there, make sure the red tent, you go over there and see Drag Illustrated. There's a guy over there called Van Abernathy, one of my favorite people on the planet. Make sure you subscribe to Drag Illustrated. It will be the best gift you've ever given yourself or anybody else. I'm telling you, it is an amazing thing to have Drag Illustrated in your mailbox when you come home for work, and man, you can just open that thing up and read it. And they have a free t-shirt, event special free t-shirt with every purchase, so make sure you go see the red tent over there and talk to Van Abernathy.
So for those of you looking for the Snowbirds Winter Series Racers Club merchandise, that is over at the Racers Club tent, which is back behind the track prep equipment over there on the vendor midway. Right over there in between the Fuel Tech trailer and the El Bandito Yankee Tequila. So,
oh, they're here? Oh, I didn't know they were here. I like those.
Two birds, one stone.
Yeah,
get you a t-shirt and get you some tequila. What could go wrong?
Yeah, and so that when you get blitzed and you make a mess of yourself, you can change your shirt.
Right.
That's a great idea. That's good marketing right there. Right behind the water box. Go straight back. Yeah. You can't miss it. And you got to get some apparel while you're here. And you got a big choice, a bunch of choices there.
Say, looking back behind.
Performance. We drive passion, a background in drag racing, and a future in all forms of motorsports. Because success in one sport isn't enough. Pushing ourselves to be the best. Climbing every mountain. Topping every peak. Until you see Fuel Tech everywhere.
Welded pumps, regulators, filters, fueling champions.
Tufty, backdoor, scores! Oh, ho, ho! In tight, scores! 3-3!
8 a.m. Towerside Grandstands. So right here to the left of me. I imagine there are a few of those diehards out there. If you've never seen that class, you got to see it. That's some screaming stuff. And even the LDR, the limited drag radial, those cars are flying now, Gavin. They're just everything is just getting so fast.
Yeah, so everything's getting quicker and quicker. And when we talk about Pro 275, they are essentially, I mean, some of them are Pro Mod bodies that they just put small tires on.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're looking at 70s in Pro 275, 370s that is, pretty consistently for some of the heavy hitters there. LDR, I mean, I think they're in the 90s now.
Right. I think the record is an 85 or something.
It's insane how quick these cars are getting when just, man, I remember back whenever we were running LDR back in the old Outlaw Streetcar Union days and running Radio versus the World and stuff like that, where we're talking about cars that are running on small tires. And, I mean, this wasn't that long ago. I mean, 6, 7, 8 years ago, where it's like, oh, man, we're getting in the 4s. We're looking great. And now it's like a 4. You're not even qualifying for some of these radial classes anymore.
There's 375 tires. The technology has changed a lot in those cars as well. And like you said, everything is getting so fast. You know, we're looking at like the Outlaw Pro 632. You know, we're looking at teens and 20s, but you know, in a couple of years from now, they'll probably be right down there. Like a 90 will be standard. You know.
Yeah. So that's a testament to both the teams and the drivers, and then the manufacturers as well, doing all they can to try to continue to put out the biggest, best, fastest, most consistent stuff. And it's insane that the strides that the drag racing world has made in that aspect in just 5, 6 short years from what we were looking at.
A lot of R&D going on. You know, probably right now there are teams that are in their companies that are in their shops now testing something new, trying something new. The bigger, the better, the faster. You know, they're doing it right now. And hats off, and we want to thankful for some of those people that do those and the innovators out there in this world of drag racing. And they're slam full of them.
100%. So we got a little bit more of cleanup time there, getting close to being done and getting back running, finishing out qualifying session number 1 for our Outlaw Pro Mod class. If you are here on property, I see the line already over there, fairly long at the Racers Club area. People picking up their Snowbirds, Winter Series, and Racers Club merchandise. So if you are here today, head over there, grab your stuff because it will sell out. Do not wait until Sunday. Do not wait until Saturday evening because they will sell out. The concession stand here is open as well for any fans, drivers, crew, wanting anything good to eat, something to drink on. The concession stand is open over here on the tower side. All right, attention in the pits, Pro 275. Pro 275, we need you to the staging lanes for qualifier number 1. Pro 275. We need you to the staging lanes for qualifier number 1. Pro 275 to the lanes for Q1.
Oh, Gavin, I'm looking forward to that Pro 275. We just talked about it, and that's another one, and I know we're going to go down the same road we just did, but they just get so fast. And they're fun to watch, and it's amazing that the cars will run that quick on that small tire. I mean, go look at one. You're out there looking at the pits, and fans, we encourage you to go out there and look at some of those cars and get close and look at them. Of course, they're works of art and technology, but it's amazing that they run that quick. And I'll tell you, I think it would be cool to see like a winner of one class run a winner of another class. That'd be cool if somebody do one day. You know, that'd be slick.
So I mentioned back Outlaw Streetcar Union days, we did that for a while. We had, giving out a baseball bat one year. The last year we ran at Bowling Green. where we had pro mods running against radial cars. We even did it at Memphis a few times there as well. And it was exciting for the fans and even for the racers as well, because you see all the different promoters, Donald Long, one of them, you see Victor and Wes and all these guys talking about, oh, pro mods are the best, oh, radial cars are the best. And we did that a few years ago with that event where we had side-by-side RVW cars running pro mod cars, and it was some pretty awesome stuff. You don't get that a whole lot anymore, but like you said, it would be very cool to see something like that happen again.
How'd you do that? How'd you do that as far as the prep? Did you just say, heck with it, they're going to run on the big tire prep?
No, we actually did 2 separate lanes. So
That's cool.
We wait till the end of the night and we jazzed one lane up for the radial guys, kept the pro mod lane for the other one, ran them under the lights. It was some pretty awesome stuff. I think we got a picture back at Virginia on the wall somewhere of Tommy Franklin and Stevie Jackson in the RVW car going heads up side by side, running like side by side. It's like a 62 and a 59, I think, was the ETs there on that run.
How cool is that? Hey, Gavin, tell us, you're a lot of things. You're track manager, and you know all about track prep and whatever. So some of the fans out there for the first time, or maybe they go all the time and follow, they just don't know it. Tell us the difference between a Pro Mod big tire track prep and their radial tire prep.
So the big thing and if you pay attention to how we do the track prep out there, you'll kind of notice that you'll see the big spray rig roll across the line a couple more times for the radial prep than you do for the big tire prep. Those radial guys are kind of more dependent on the glue than what a big tire car is. Big tire car, if you got too much glue up there, they can't just get that tire to hook up how they need it to. So if you walk out there on a good pro mod prepped racetrack, it's a little dead. Not to say dead, it's still really, really good. Like if you stand there for a minute, your shoes are going to get stuck, but it's not as sticky on the starting line as a radial prep is, and that's to allow those tires to get the wheel speed they need, grab and go and take off. And then when you get out past 60 foot, it's really, really good radial prep out there past the 60 foot. So whenever these guys are throwing up, 62s, 59s, 58s, all these, 217 mile an hour runs like we saw out of Mark Mickey, they got enough glue there on the track to keep them glued and stuck to it from A to B. Whereas the radial guys, that smaller tire, a little less surface area, they need that glue to kind of hook up and go and take off. And you'll see with a lot of guys where in the big tire world, if they knock the tire on the starting line, they can kind of get back in it and drive out it. On the radial guys, it's a whole lot sketchier if you see a radial guy zip the tire off the line and try to get back into it. And you've seen over the years in some of the radial classes where we have the pedal fest, where it's a woo, 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 going back, forth, where they're up both trying to hook up and get down, because if you don't get it on the starting line in those radial cars, it is difficult and sometimes impossible to get it hooked up once you get going down the track.
So one of the things I was thinking about when it registered with me when you're talking about, especially the Pro Mod prep and the big tire prep, is, when I was doing the TV thing and announcing the No Prep Kings, I would tell some of my friends and some of the people, they would say how fast those cars really go, right? And I would tell them, some of these guys are going in the 70s at that time, right? And they're saying, BS, there's no way they're running that. But I can tell you this, and you know this as a track prep guy and a manager, the groove is the groove, right? It's out of the groove where things change, right? So with no prep, it's just what was left on it, right? What was left from the previous event. And what people didn't know was a lot of times if somebody like PDRA or NHRA was there a week or so before, then that track is pretty sticky, right? So when you first get out there on a no prep track, you walk it and it's not even grabbing your shoes, right? You just whatever. But about 5 or 6 pair in, it's it's pulling. So just like you said at the beginning, you want a little bit of tire spin. Those cars are making so much power. You want it to spin just a little at first where it gets hooked up, and then that that energy gets going and it's gone, right? So you want some, not so much in a radial side, you want that thing to hook from the get-go. So that kind of explains a little bit, although you explained the big tire prep surface, it actually can relate to the no prep surface as well.
Right, and that's the one thing that maybe the fans at home don't realize, or people who haven't been to the racetrack and seen that before. When these cars are doing burnouts, they are leaving rubber and kind of flattening out what's there, making a nice, smooth, and flat groove. So even in the no prep world where they're not rolling out there with the tractor like we are now with the rotator or a flat drag and kind of making an artificial surface for them, they're creating their own surface as they go, which is something that is like I said, in the no prep world, you run 5, 6 pair, or even on when you get to day 2, you've got a track out there that could be just as good as like a solid prep bracket track. And what's insane, like you were talking about too, these no prep cars, with the lack of glue and the lack of track prep, are still cranking off 70s, no problem.
Yeah, some of them are quicker than that, and of course you can see the numbers. They're lighting up the boards, and some of those are here. And some of these no prep guys have their no prep cars with them today. They do not have their pro mods done, or Robin Roberts is one. He's back there in the lanes, going to be running. Kai Kelly, we just saw, win his 60, and that's his no prep car. So people might be sitting there thinking, well, I know he doesn't do that in no prep. Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does do that in no prep. That's his no prep car. He just doesn't show that number, but that's what's going on.
Yep, and like we mentioned earlier and kind of hit on it, that is the beauty of the Winter Series, Snowbirds, U.S. Street in January, World Series of Pro Mod to cap off the Winter Series in March, that you get people from all avenues of drag racing. You get pro stock drivers, you get top field drivers, you get no prep drivers, you get no time, you get radial guys. I mean, the driver list and their backgrounds when it comes to our Outlaw Pro Mod series here is one that is almost unmatched. And the one thing, too, that we do here that we don't do over on the PDRA side, PDRA, we separate nitrous and boost. Here, they're all running together. And like you mentioned earlier, some of the guys were stirring the pot a little bit on the nitrous side and then on the turbos as well.
Right.
I mean, everybody's seen what Mark Mickey's running. It's no secret that he's got one of the quickest pro mods on the planet.
That's right.
But the nitrous guys feel as if they may be at a little bit of a disadvantage. And while they may feel that way, some of the other pro-charged cars and boosted cars are looking at like, well, those guys, they're coming in a little bit lighter. And I mean, we've seen Keith Haney and Tommy Franklin not here this weekend, but those are guys that just a World Series this past year, I believe they qualified in the top 6 or 7 in their nitrous cars.
Right.
Being the underdog, if you will. And once again, it's crazy to even say that. Jim Halsey and Tommy Franklin underdogs at any race they go to. It's only here at the Winter Series and at Snowbirds and these combined events where they can even go in with that mindset of, you know what, I'm the underdog. I've got to swing for the fences every single time. You don't get that anywhere else, because whenever they're racing back at home with us at the PDRA Series, it's always Jim and Tommy, and this year Freddie Scriba always at the top everywhere they go. And then they come here in a different pond and, got to kind of adjust a little bit and try to run with some of these, crazy fast boosted applications.
Well, my hat's off, and I admire the rule makers as they keep them all in the same playing field. I like seeing them all. I hope that it's never so dominant, and I think it has been in the past at different series that one has a bigger advantage or a way bigger advantage than the other, and they, and the rules change throughout the year to try to keep that parity all the same. I come from the nitrous background. I used to travel with Nitrous Pro Mod back in the 90s, early 90s with some of those teams. And so I'm a nitrous guy at heart, but I love seeing the blower cars, the Pro Charge cars and even the turbo cars. They're so exciting. So I'm glad that we can level the field as best we can, and I think it's a great show. And we're about to get right back in it where we left off in our round 1 of qualifying. Still in round 1 in M&M Outlaw Pro Mod. Round 1 of qualifying right here back in action. Raymond Matos left-hand side out of Puerto Rico. Left lane 2012 Camaro right-hand side. Chris Giuliano. Beautiful Mustang. Look at that fastback over there in the right lane. 67 body style. 969 cubic inches. Nitrous guzzling power over there in the right lane.
And once again, Pro 275, we need you to the lanes for qualifier 1. Pro 275, we need you to the lanes for qualifier number 1. Limited drag radial, you are on standby. Limited drag radial, you are on standby. We'll be calling you to the lane shortly.
All right, another pair, man. I tell you, they just keep coming. A pair of beautiful race cars right there. Look at that Camaro left-hand side. A Raymond Puerto Rican entry. They're strong over there. How about the bump right now? The bump right now, and we're not even finished with qualifying round number 1, is a 389.
Yeah, a bump of 389 in Q1. Still got some more left to go, and guys are going to get it dialed in for the next session.
Raymond on a number right here goes 65, 365 at 204. For Matos on the left-hand side, Chris Giuliano 369 at 201. How about a 365 with a 9 puts you in the 17th spot?
Yeah, 365 with a 9, and you don't have lane choice if we were putting you on the ladder right now going into round 1. Crazy, crazy stuff here. Great runs out of both of them. Coming up next, the local runner, Robert Abbott, here in the left lane. And Camilo Velez in the right lane.
So a pair of Florida drivers right here. Another pair of just gorgeous race cars. 68 Camaro left side, 69 in the right lane. Abbott, WYO Motorsports, high drive on board. We got those guys helping out over the left-hand side. Camilo, Fuel Tech, Red Horse, ARP. Of course, the R and R on the side of that car. So the bump now is a 72, 372. All right, here we go. Pair of beautiful Florida cars locking horns right here in Q1 of M&M Outlaw Pro Mod. Still in qualifying round. We've seen all these great numbers. It's quarter to 12, and it's not even lunchtime. We're seeing some great stuff right here. Low 60s, low 60s, and a bunch of them. Camilo all over the tree right there on the right-hand side, goes to 78 at 198. Abbott, few issues there left side, 95 at 202. Hensley in the right lane, California car with a Coast on the side of it, a Coast Packing Company. Yeah, very strong signature melody there on the left-hand side. Oh, Robin looking good right there, holding his own, goes to 72 at 198. Hensley, right lane, 369 at 201. Robin, a little better off the tree right there. Still on the outside. We're only taking 32 cars. He's at number 33 right now with a 72. I told him earlier when I went through the pits talking to him, I said, you got to wick it up, brother. You got to wick it up. You want to get in this show.
All right, LDR, limited drag radial, needs you to the lanes. Limited drag radial, needs you to the lanes. Limited drag radial needs you to the lanes for Q1. LDR to the lanes for Q1. Steve, right here we got Scott Palmer in the left lane and Bubba Green over there in the right lane. Bubba Green, PDRA Pro Boost car. Scott Palmer, driven pretty much everything. Raced this Pro Mod here a few times, run some top fuel stuff as well over the NHRA side. Another one of those guys with a very diverse background, been behind the wheel of just about everything.
Yeah, you're right. Look at Wes Buck down there getting propped up right there. For that beautiful 63 split window of Scott Palmer. He's no stranger to that nitromethane. They might have accidentally threw some in the fuel right there on the left side. Right-hand lane, Bubba Green. I've seen this car run some strong numbers down in the South in the Outlaw Pro Mod categories. I've seen him run a great number at Union this year already, at Union Dragway. So they got a good team over there on the right-hand side. That car can flat out haul the mail. Left-hand side, Scott Palmer, like you said. Look at that thing. That's all motor right there in a little bitty body. Wow, did you see the tire shake right there left side? Palmer with a ton of tire shake right there at the hit. Man, he probably lost some fillings in his teeth right there with the amount of tire shake. Looked like the quarter panels were trying to jump off of that thing. Right-hand side with issues as well, so not what they're looking for. Bubba Green and Scott Palmer, they'll have to go back and look at the data and try to see what can we do different. But, man, that was a ton of tire shake over here.
Up next, Scott Taylor out of Mississippi here in the left lane, and over in the right lane, Brandon Pesz from Texas, and that awesomely wrapped Mustang in the right lane. Take a look at that wrap as he backs on up. Beautiful looking combination of colors and designs there on that car. The PJS team, always a force to be reckoned with. Steve, what do you know about Scott Taylor over here on the left?
Brand new car right here, Pro Mod for Scott Taylor. Used to be out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Also used to own Hub City Drag Strip, Scott Taylor did. And he's got a towing business as well. But he's a great racer, a great guy too. One of the best attitudes, and just an all-around good guy. Him and his wife, they got twin kids, girls, I think. And what a beautiful race car that is. So another one of these no prep guys that wants to be a part of the Pro Mod family right there. So he's going to come and dip in here and see what he can do. I don't know what he's done this week so far in testing, but we'll see right here. It's a good-looking race car, though. Look at that thing sitting low. Love the paint job there on Pesz's car on the right-hand side out of Texas. So here we go. Keith Superstores on the side, Scott Taylor. Taylor on a good number right there, 377 to Pesz's 371. Unfortunately, not going to get them there, but they got some data, what they need to do. Both of them are ranked 199 miles an hour, both cars. Puts them in number 36, Pesz at number 33. They'll have to throw everything out of the kitchen sink tune on that thing to get them in the show here with all these sharks in the tank.
Up next, we got Stan Shelton, Culp Lumber Machine, NHRA winning driver here in the left lane, and in the right lane, you've got NMCA champion Bob Glenn. Florida runner, I said NMCA champion, NMCA no more, but still regardless, a solid season for him. Believe he's got John Salemi and crew helping him out as well. So anytime you got the Salemi team working on a pro mod, they are always destined to be a front runner.
And what are the odds right here? A pair of 67 fastbacks coming in at the same time. Right, left-hand side, Stan Shelton. He's another North Carolina native, the Culp Lumber car. And as you said, man, they are a strong team, especially on that NHRA series. They've dipped down and came and run some of the other series I've done, the Rogue events throughout the South, and always done well. And Stan Shelton is a great guy. They're another great team over there. Like you said, Bob Glenn in the right-hand lane, strong team. So look for some good numbers. I think left side right here could throw down something low. Bob Glenn, right side. Stan Shelton in the left lane. Pair of Mustangs in qualifying round number 1. Another one, what are the odds, right? As both of them right there lift on the big end. Stan looked a little sluggish right there and then pulled it out in the middle of the track and then has to lift. So both drivers, again, down to a couple of bullets. They got to go back there and review the data. Hey, what are we going to do now? Where are we going to put the power? What are we going to do? We got to get this thing in the show.
So, Steve, we got Tom Blinko over here in the left lane, another former NMCA car. Little fun fact about Mr. Blinko there, as you see, out of Bardstown, Kentucky, building a distillery where he's going to do all kinds of his own bourbons and whiskeys and maybe dabble into the tequila world and stuff like that. Being built, it is a really, really cool facility he's got being built over there in Bardstown, right there in the mix of the Bourbon Trail and all that in Kentucky. Solid runner. I believe Mr. Patrick Barnhill still doing a little bit of helping out there with that group.
Beautiful race car, man. Look how far forward the motor is on that thing, man.
Yes.
It's up there and it looks like it's way in front of the front tires, I guess, for the weight distribution. Who we got in the right lane?
So Billy Banica over there in the right lane. I believe Mr. Brandon Stroud still helping out over there. Then that Pro Line Camaro NHRA car over there on the right side.
Two more beautiful cars. Look at that Corvette, man. What a great looking race car and a great choice in that Corvette body style. Wheels up left side for Tom. What a strong pass. He goes 370 at 202.74. Right lane at 203. Wow, left-hand side. Tom lifted those wheels, and I don't know when it set it down, but it carried it a long ways.
Yeah, it's a great run out of the Bourbon Man there in the left lane. Up next, Ty Tutterow and Antron Brown.
I tell you what, Gavin, this right here may be worth the price of admission. Right? We got a young superstar, son of King Tut over here, left-hand side, Ty Tutterow out of Yadkinville, North Carolina. Beautiful 69, and I'm going to tell you what, those of you that are coming from somewhere else on the left-hand side of the United States that don't know much about this man standing behind the car, talking into the headset, talking to his son, rules have been made around that gentleman there in the left-hand lane. And his son driving the car, now the quick fuel car. Right-hand side, what can be said? This car is super fast over there. Top Fuels standout and star world champion Antron Brown in the right-hand lane. That's a Lexus over there.
Yeah, so world champion Top Fuel driver over there, like you said, Antron Brown. ran in World Series Pro Mod this year, had some pretty solid runs. Going to see if we can put together some more. Ty Tutterow, as you mentioned, here in the left lane, doing the Patton WYO, a little clear out there on the starting line before he pulls into the pre-stage beam. Ty, a former NMCA world champion as well. No slouch when it comes to drivers behind the wheel here this weekend. Ty being right there at the top with the rest of them.
2020 Lexus over there on the right-hand side. I don't think that's a factor. Antron on a good number. How about left side? Tutterow goes 366 with an 8 at 2:05. Antron 370 with a 9 at 2:01. Ty goes to the number 19th spot with that 66. Antron goes on to the bubble at number 32 with a 70.
And there's that trademark Todd Tutterow Q1 run. I'm just going to go A to B. I'm not going to set the world on fire. I'm going to put a solid run in there. It's going to put me right in the middle of the field, take the data, and just keep chipping away. Don't be surprised before the end of the weekend you see all of those Ty Drive WYO machines towards the top of the qualifying sheet.
Jimmy Taylor right here on the right-hand side out of Tennessee. 67 Firebird blown car in the right-hand lane. Beautiful race car. Left-hand side, slow to back up right here. Adrian Herrera out of Texas, 67 Chevelle. How about that? 67 Chevelle. That's pretty cool. Good-looking car trying to get in this tough Pro Mod, Outlaw Pro Mod category.
Attention in the pits, absolute final call, Pro 275. Final call, Pro 275. Our last Pro Mod is in the water box. So if you are not here in Pro 275, you are late and potentially going to miss your first qualifying session. We also need limited drag radial, LDR, limited drag radial. You have been called to the lanes for your first qualifying session.
Left-hand side, Adrian Herrera out of Texas. What a beautiful car, man. I bet you this thing is a handful right there with that wheelbase. Right-hand side, Jimmy Taylor out of Clinton, Tennessee. That looks like the Warbird car over there in the right lane. Left-hand side, Adrian 412 at 169. Taylor in the right lane. That thing shook so bad, the driver's door opened up. Seen that happen before. A lot of tire shake down there, and that comes from a number of things, but too much too soon or too little. The last of the Mohicans right here coming up next. Over Outlaw Pro Mod qualifying round number 1. We got one car left coming up. It's in the water back there on a single. The one car coming up.
So our last Pro Mod here in session 1, Matt Deach, nitrous assisted, orange, I believe it's Camaro over there in the right lane, runs a little bit with us over on the PDRA side in Pro Nitrous. He is slowly backing up there. And Steve, if you take a look down there at our scoreboard, you see the bump currently for 32 cars is a 370 after just one session, where not everybody made it down. Some big names didn't make it down, and you know they're going to come back for Q2 later this afternoon. and try to improve on what they did in Q1. So we're looking at that bump dropping by 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers possibly.
Yeah, with the number of cars that are in the 60s, you know, over half of the field is in the 60s, right? And we'll probably have, by the end of Q2, I would say we're probably going to have 27 cars in the 60s, possibly. That's strong, man. So we're going to see that number, like you said, drop dramatically. We're going to be close to what your prediction. I'm not going to tell you what it is over the air right here, but it's going to be close. We're going to see it. It's going to fall. Love these Yenko standard cars or replica cars right here, the race car. I love that orange and black. What a beautiful race car on the right-hand side for Deech. Nitrous entry. So I can tell you that's in excess of 959, 79, whatever. It's way on up there with a ton of juice. Probably 5 or so kits or more. The first one is already on right now, by the way. The second one will come on before you get 60 feet. He's on a good hit as he lifts the wheels there. Goes to 72 at 204 miles an hour. That's a good hit anywhere. Unfortunately, you had Bradenton at the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals, and that puts you in the number 39 spot with a 72. Wow. All right, we're going to do a little bit of prep right here, get ready for our next class. Our Pro 275 cars. You heard me talk about this, or heard Gavin and I talk about this earlier, the Pro 275 category. Anxious to see this. I like the Pro 275 class because I've watched it get faster and faster over the years, and sometimes it's amazing when I go do an event somewhere and they pop off some of these numbers. I'm like, what in the world? Right? It's amazing how fast these 275 cars are.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we kind of hit on earlier, got to do a little bit of a different track prep for those guys. So see Wade out there, Bradenton Motorsports Park, track prep official, doing a little bit of scraping, patching some bald spots that were caused by all those big tire cars leaving from the same area over and over again. I mean, we had, I believe it ended up being 32 pairs of Pro Mod cars that went down that session. So the starting line can take a beating after 32
That's
cars.
amazing, man. Just think about that. You know, you go to different places and see a lot of Pro Mod cars, but right here, 32 pairs, 64 cars. I think we may even have some more on the way. So what a great show. That's worth the price of admission right there. Hey, what a reminder, track radio station 95.3 FM, 95.3 will get you right here. You can hear everything going on.
And as everybody here is tuning their radio station 95.3, listen closely. If you are needing Snowbird's merch, Winter Series merch, Racers Club merch, that is all located behind the track prep equipment over on the vendor midway. Head over to the Racers Club tent and the Winter Series tent over there behind the winter circle and behind the track prep equipment. Get your merch today. Do not wait until tomorrow evening, and definitely do not wait until Sunday, because there is a very, very high probability that by the time Sunday morning rolls around, we may be sold out. It has happened in the past. I believe it was a couple years ago that we sold out of Snowbird's merch on like Saturday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon before the jet show even started. And look out, Steve, the one and only Wes Buck has joined us up here in Race Control.
In the house, we're either going to get praised or yelled at right here, again. Praised?
100% praise. I just want everybody to give it up for that first round of Pro Mod. Incredible first shot. We lit the boards today. Got the whole world got to